Hi everyone, Hervin here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to grow a dance studio fast. So if you're a dance studio owner looking to grow and scale your studio, you're looking to increase your enrollment, bring in more students, and you're looking to do this quickly, in this video I am going to cover exactly how we help dance studio owners inside our company do exactly this. What is the marketing plan, the game plan that we use to grow dance studio owners who work with us inside our company to help them increase their enrollment, bring in their ideal students, and so on. And so let's dive right in. So I'm going to share my screen here. As you can see here, how to grow a dance studio fast. And so the first thing that I want to talk about here is I see a lot of studio owners that make the biggest mistake, and I'm going to write over here, biggest mistake is that their biggest mistake when it comes to growing a dance studio is not advertising. And so a lot of studio owners want to grow their student enrollment. A lot of studio owners want to bring in a ton of new students, but they don't invest money in marketing and advertising. And think about this for a second. If you want to get this many students to enroll with you, right? So you want a lot of students, but you only have this many people who know about your studio. That doesn't even make any sense, right? Like if only this many people know about your studio, you're not going to be able to grow your student enrollment, right? If you want this, let's just say you want this many people at your studio. You want to grow your student enrollment. It's here, you want to grow it to here. Well, you need this many people to know that your studio exists. You need this many people inquiring about your dance classes, right? And so this is a big mistake that often a lot of studio owners make, is they don't spend any money in advertising. Now, for a lot of studio owners, they might be like, well, I don't know how to set up advertising campaigns. I'm afraid of wasting money. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work in my town. I have a video called Facebook and Instagram advertising campaigns for dance studios, or like Facebook ads tutorial for dance studios step by step, or something like that. I don't know the exact title, but you can look this up on my YouTube channel, and you can see there I go through step by step how to set up this Facebook ads, and that's the first thing that I would do if I wanted to grow a dance studio. So I'm gonna write that here. The first thing I would focus on is advertising. If depending on how fast you want to grow your studio, right? So if you're looking to grow really quickly, then advertising is your number one way. Now, why? Because with advertising, I was just saying earlier, you can pay to get people to know that you exist. So if you want to increase your enrollment from here to here, you need this many people to find out that you exist. A quick and easy, or I shouldn't say easy, a quick way to do this, a simple way to do this, is to pay platforms like Facebook and Instagram, which the mother company is now called Meta, to pay Meta to show your ads to people who might otherwise not hear about you. A lot of studio owners, they rely on word of mouth when it comes to increasing their enrollment, or when it comes to marketing their studio, promoting their dance classes, they just rely on word of mouth. And it's okay. Word of mouth is the best form of marketing, but by itself, it's not going to help you grow your studio really quickly. It's not like you can go up to your students and say, guys, let's do a lot more marketing, a lot more word of mouth this month, right? You can't really do that. You can incentivize it, but you can't, tell your students, let's speak more about our studio. It just kind of happens organically, and it happens, every month you can rely on some word of mouth to happen. But if you want to really get in front of parents who otherwise wouldn't hear about you, who parents in your town and neighboring towns, even towns that are, a little bit of further away from, so you want to get in contact with people from neighboring towns who might be further away from your studio. The way to do that is through advertising, because you can select geographically. You can select in a map. You can say, I want to show my advertisings to people in this zip codes. I want to show my ads 7 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles around my studio. So you could do that with advertising. And that's the first place that I would focus on. Now, when it comes to advertising, a lot of people are like, okay, but how much should I spend? How much money should I invest in advertising? And I just want to share with you here on my screen, because I wrote this down. What is the cost to get 100 students to enroll at your studio? And so this is important. This is an important metric for you to know, is how much does it cost to get 100 students? Because, if you want to increase your student enrollment by 100 students, there's a way to calculate how much, give or take, it would take for you to essentially increase your enrollment by 100 students. So let's dive right in. So the first thing is, if you want 100 students to be enrolled at your studio, you need more than 100 people to show up to your studio, because not everybody who's going to show up to your studio is going to sign up, okay? On average, what I've seen is that anybody who comes from word of mouth, they're going to enroll about 80 to 90% of the time. These are people who already know you, they already like you, they already trust you, they know they've heard good things about you from their friends, they've been referred by somebody else. And so if that is the case, it's pretty obvious that, pretty much the only thing that you have to do is like not spook them, and they're going to sign up, because they already know that, they've heard good things about you. As opposed to, if you're speaking to somebody new, they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you yet, they just saw one of your advertising campaigns on Facebook or Instagram, they don't have any reason to trust you yet. And on top of that, they might not even know if their kid is going to fully be into dancing right now. Or if you're advertising for adults, they don't know if they're going to like this or not yet. And so it's going to be hard to find people, or I should say, not everybody who's going to come in from an advertising campaign is going to sign up. In fact, what we have seen is that about 50% of the people who show up from an advertising to your studio actually enroll. So actually sign up. Now, 50% enrollment rate. Okay, so and this is not like set in stone. This is like if you're good, but if you're really good, I've seen 70% enrollment rate from advertising. And I've seen that with many studio owners who are really good at sales. Now, let's just say 50% for the sake of this video. So you need 200 people to show up at your studio if you want to get 100 of them to enroll, right? So if you have 50% conversion rate, 50% of 200, that's 100. Okay, so in order to get 100 people to enroll, you need 200 people to at least show up to your studio. Now, in order for people to show up to your studio, let's just say you're offering a free trial class where you're giving away one class for free. People come into your studio to take their free trial. So in order for them to come in to take their free trial, they must have told you in the past that they were coming, right? Like, you must have had a conversation with them at some point saying to them like, hey, we're offering these free trials. Do you want to come in? So, but here's the thing. Not everybody who says that they are going to come in for a free trial is actually going to make it to the free trial. And this is the thing. A lot of people they think that because they had, 10 people saying that they were coming for the free trial and they only had 6 people show up, that somehow something went wrong, or that it's not supposed to be this way. People get busy, they forget, they double book themselves. This is normal. Not everybody who says they were going to come in for the free trial actually shows up. And so what we've seen is that the studio owners who are working with us, they have a 70% show rate, which means out of the, let's say 100 people said that they were going to come in for a trial, 70 actually show up. Now, in order to get 200 people to show up, you need, with a 70% show rate, 286 people to book a trial. Okay, so 286 people to tell you, yes, I want to show up to your studio to try a class. 200 people to just be interested enough that they said that they were going to show up for a trial. And so the people who are working with us, we've seen like 70% show rate, which means out of 286, they will have 200 people who show up. Okay, next, not everybody who inquires about your studio is actually going to book a trial class. Meaning, let's say you have 100 people who saw your advertising, inquired, they filled out the form, they gave you their information. It turns out that you try and reach out to a lot of them and they don't respond. They tell you that they were just looking, they didn't know what they were filling out. They're thinking, they thought it was something else. They thought you were in a different state. They thought that, they're like, I changed my mind. Turns out my kid doesn't want to do this. Turns out I actually got called into work and I can no longer even think about this. And so anyway, approximately what we've seen is that 50% of the leads who book a trial 50% of the leads who actually inquire actually book a trial. So not everybody who inquires is going to book a trial. So with a 50% booking rate, meaning out of the leads that you get, 50% of them are going to actually book a trial, you need 572 inquiries. So you need 572 people who inquire so that you can get 286 of them to book a trial, so that you can get 200 of them to show up, so that you can get 100 of them to enroll. I hope this is making sense. I'll say that one more time. 572, 286, 200, 100. So it's not that you're going to get 100 new inquiries from your advertising and then boom, you're going to get 100 students. That's not how advertising works. It's called a funnel, right? Because it's like this. It starts to go down. Or it starts to narrow in. And so a lot of people think advertising is not working for them because they had a couple of people inquiring. They're like, I spent $15 on my ad. I had 3 people inquire and nobody showed up, nobody enrolled. Yeah, again, it's a funnel, right? So you need a lot of people at the top and if you want to have people here at the bottom. Again, think about it. 572 people inquire and then you only have 100 people enrolling from the 572. But that's normal. That's exactly how advertising works. Now, because now we know that we need 572 people to inquire in order for us to get 100 students, we can calculate based on the average cost per lead that Facebook, Instagram, Meta charges per lead. What we've seen on average is that studio owners spend about $10 to $20 per lead on Facebook and Instagram advertising campaigns. So using that metric, okay, so using $10 to $20 cost per lead, and if you need approximately 572 leads to get 100 students, which by the way, these are not hard numbers. So I've had studio owners who have a better booking rate than 50%, so they need less leads. I have people here who have 75% show rate, so they need less leads. I have seen people who have a 50% enrollment rate. More than a 50% enrollment rate, 70% enrollment rate. So that means they're going to need less leads. But let's just keep 572 in mind. So what's 572 multiplied? Let's just say you get a cost per lead of $15 right here. So cost per lead, 572 times a cost per lead of $15. So, I split it in the middle. So Facebook usually charges between 10 to 20. So I pick 15. 572 times $15 is $8,580 to get 100 students. Well, in reality, to get 572 leads, which eventually translates into 100 students. So I'm going to put this number in big here for a second. 8,580. Now, for me, when I found this out, I'm like, oh, wow, this is insightful. For you, you might be thinking about this number and you might be thinking like, whoa, my God, like this is insane. This is a lot of money. I would never be able to afford $8,580 to get 100 students. Like I would never do it. That's too much money. Look, so I I just want to reframe this way of thinking for you. The reason why I'm making this video is because I want to invite you to think about it in a slightly different way. Okay, so think about it this way. I'm gonna just first of all from a cost perspective. So you're thinking $8,500 is costly to enroll 100 students. How many students has your mirrors cost you, right? For me, when I had my own studio, when we set up our mirrors were like $6,700, around that range. They were expensive. And so to me, I'm like, I if I could have the best mirrors on the wall, but if I don't have any students, then I'm not going to have a studio pretty soon. And so, to me, this is actually even more important than the mirrors, than the floorings. I've had studio owners that have worked with me who started out of a rec center, like teaching in a place that had no mirrors, no floorings, didn't look decent at all, and they still started to enroll people because they started to advertise. And so this is how you're going to be able to pay for the mirrors, is by having students. And so how do you get the students? You need to advertise. Okay, so that's number one. The other thing too that I want to invite you to think about is, how much money are you making back if you did enroll 100 students? Okay, so like say for example, you did enroll 100 students and you charge $50 tuition for one class a week. And by the way, $50 is super, super cheap. If you're charging $50, you should raise your prices, but I'm just going to keep this number in mind here for a second, $50. And also something to keep in mind is that not every student that is going to sign up is going to stay with you for the long term, right? So I don't want to make here this video and sell you some false idea that if you enroll 100 students, 100 of them are going to stay with you for years. Obviously, there's what we call churn. So there are people who drop off and they're not going to stay with you for a while, right? So what I've done here is that I've created this table to show you what would happen if you had this scenario right here. So let's just say 5 of the 100 students stay with you for 1 month, okay? Then you have 15 that stay with you for 3 months, and so on. And so you have 30 stay with you for 7, 30 stay with you for 10 months, 15 stay with you for 15 months, and 5 stay with you for 25 months, okay? So there's going to be some people that are going to, out of the 100, that are going to drop off right away. There are some people out of the 100, there's probably going to be a small percentage of the 100 people that are going to stay with you for a really long while. And so I've done here that I've calculated here. So let's just say you have 5 people who stay with you 1 month. 1 month is $50 because you're charging a $50 tuition. So the money collected here, 5 students times $50 a month, $250 in tuition collected. Now I've done this, so if you have 15 who stay with you for 3 months, that's $150 in tuition collected. I mean, $150 is 50 times 3 months, and then times 15, that's $2,250. So I did the math right here, and if you enrolled 100 students with these scenarios right here, it's going to help you make an additional $45,500. So think about it think about it that way, right? So you invested $8,580 or whatever it is. Let me check here a second. Yeah, $8,580, and you made back $45,500. Who doesn't like that return on investment, right? Like you invested $8,580, you made back $45,500. That's nuts. That's like a great investment, right? So if you were to think about the stock market, imagine you put $8,000 and you make 45 back. You'd be considered like a genius investor. So the same thing here. This is an investment. You need to spend money on your advertising so you can generate students, and you put in dollars into advertising, which turns into students, which ends up turning into money that you make. And so if you think about it in that way, then it starts to make sense as to why you should advertise. By the way, we're only considering here that these students are only taking 1 class a week. they're not referring their friends, they're not bringing in sisters, they're not bringing in their friends, they're not buying any merchandise, they're not buying private lessons, they're just taking one class a week and that's it. So the numbers in reality look actually a lot better than this. So now let's think about what if you, and this is going to be, follow me here because this is a crazy idea. Instead of charging $50, you charge $70 a week. I mean, $70 a month for one class a week, right? So again, this might be controversial. I'm asking you to raise your prices here, which a lot of studio owners get really terrified when it's time to raise their prices. They're like, oh no, I raised my prices last season and I raised them by $2. And, and I was afraid. Think about it, right? Like if you went from $50 to $70, here's what would happen. So the numbers right here stay the same. 5 stay with you for 1 month, 15 for 3 months, etc. And then you have, instead of collecting 50, you collect 70. Instead of collecting at the end $45,000, you end up getting $63,700. So you invested $8,580 and you made back $63,700. That's how you have to think about this. And then again, this is without counting additional classes, referring their friends, referring their sisters, buying merchandise, buying private lessons. These are just straight. This is just one class a week. So this is why you should also definitely consider raising your prices from 50 to 70 or more or beyond. Anybody listening to this should really be charging $75 or more. I mean, if you're in a tiny town, 70. If you're in a major city, you should be charging 90, 95, 100 for one class a week. Yeah, for sure, like $100. And so anyway, here is what you need to think about is that the return on the investment, right? So this is what you're thinking about, return on the investment. And so I'm going to speak here about something else, which is what happens if you increase the amount of classes the kids are taking, if you now add merchandise, if you now add where they refer their friends. That's how you start to take those 63,000, or that's how you start even generating even more revenue from the students that you're bringing in. But anyway, I wanted to make this video to show the point here. The fastest way to grow a dance studio is through advertising, because you can get in front of new people who may not know you, never heard of you, and you can get a chance to, you can offer them a free trial. They could come in, you can have a process there, a sales process, a follow-up process to get them to show up and enroll. And you invest $8,580 and you make $63,000 back. That's a really, by the way, don't quote me on these prices. Don't quote me on these numbers. I'm just sharing this so that it gets you thinking. If your pricing per lead is more like $20 or $30, that's up to you. Again, I'm not here to be held liable for, this is, take this and consult your lawyer, your attorney, whoever. I'm just sharing this for educational purposes only. Okay? But I wanted to share this with you because I wanted to get you thinking about advertising is really like one of the best ways to grow your student enrollment really quickly. If you're interested in finding out more information on how to grow a dance studio, there are many other YouTube videos here inside my channel that speak about exactly that. We talk about organic marketing from your website, how to rank higher in the Google search results, how to build your website, enrollment strategies to enroll more students. But this is just the foundation. If you're a dance studio owner and you're afraid of putting money in marketing, then you're not going to be able to grow your studio as quickly as possible. All right, hopefully this has been helpful. If you've enjoyed this content, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video.